During the Second World War, the Holocaust claimed the lives of millions of people, and Adolf Hitler alone was to blame. However, what if he was killed at an early age before the evil he harbored manifested itself in full propaganda? This kung fu legend will journey back in time to fulfill the treacherous task. In the dystopian Miami of 1985, when crime is at its highest, the movie opens. Local criminals and a police officer got into a heated confrontation for no apparent reason. One of them flips his skateboard beneath the police vehicle and sends it flying when asked to identify himself, violating the laws of physics. The cop inside the automobile is killed as a result of the criminal's gunfire, which causes the car to explode. Gangsters who assassinate and abduct anyone they want are everywhere in Miami. It almost seems like a cinematic version of GTA Vice City has been made. Two guys lose a video game at a local arcade and criticize the device. In response, the machine curses at them and begins to object. Electric waves go down its body, bringing it to life instantly. It flicks off the nerds and blows their brains as they marvel at it. The machine then leaves the arcade and goes on a killing spree, destroying everything in its path and murdering everyone. After several wrecked vehicles and demolished structures, a police car arrives on the scene and makes an attempt to stop it. However, the mechanical beast has little trouble defeating him. When it runs out of coins and begins to expire, it snatches some money from a parking meter nearby and keeps ambushing people as it travels. Finally, the police declare a situation to be an emergency, and Kung Fu must be called. The top police officer in the area is known as Kung Fury and is skilled in the Kung Fu martial art. He is now spending some quality alone time with his partner. He leaps from a building as soon as he learns about the crazy machine and lands perfectly in his sports vehicle. When he arrives at the scene of the crime, the machine is flipping off an unidentified dog crossing the street. Fury rams into it with the automobile and then slides the equipment to the ground. The two then engage in a vicious altercation that lasts for many hours. They eventually find themselves dangling from a helicopter that is in the air. Even after being blasted into a spacecraft in orbit, Fury recovers and keeps attacking. In the end, he triumphs and the arcade machine is disassembled. Then, we are transported back in time to the beginning of Fury's path toward being the finest policeman. He is pursuing a mystery kung fu teacher one night while on duty with his partner. Together, they apprehended him, demonstrating their superiority as a police squad. They are unaware that the kung fu guy is not an amateur. However, he prepares to do the same on Fury before instantly slicing his buddy in two and killing him. Fury is then simultaneously struck by lightning and bitten by a snake. In his dreams, he passes out and visits a Shaolin temple. The school has been searching for a single fighter who could use the Fury fighting style for years. Fury himself ended up being the chosen one, which is how he acquired his moniker. He abruptly awakens in the alley, where the kung fu teacher is just about to murder him. This time, he shows that he is the chosen one by kicking the guy against the wall to finish him off. In the end, the criminal shoots himself in an oil tanker as Fury does a backflip nearby. After things settle down, he visits the scene and takes a piece of the criminal's clothing as a memento, vowing to take action against criminals like him to keep his community safe. The next scene shows Fury being summoned to the captain's office. Everyone is furious with him for tearing down a whole row of homes to capture a single machine. The captain pairs him up with Triceracop, a human with a dinosaur head, as a partner to prevent him from making the same error again. Fury, however, adamantly refuses to collaborate with a partner since the last one passed away years ago. As a result, he decides to leave his job completely. The captain receives a call from an unidentified number just as he is about to depart the station. Adolf Hitler, who enjoys kung fu, is the guy on the other end. He begins firing the phone and makes death threats to everyone. The plan miraculously succeeds, and the station is pelted with gunshots, killing the captain and numerous other police officers. Fortunately, Fury comes back and smashes the phone with some expert blows before any more damage can be done. After that, a flashback to Hitler's past reveals that, in the 1940s, he was a world-class kung fu fighter. He aspired to become the chosen one by mastering the art of fury. He referred to himself as the Kung Führer and hired an entire army to do this. He was never able to become an expert, however, and one day he vanished in shame. But as it turns out, he managed to time travel into the future in order to murder Fury, the chosen one. The only way to stop Hitler at this point is to go back to the 1940s and assassinate him while his army is still growing. There is just one little issue. In 1985, time travel hadn't been invented yet. A man with a short mustache and mullet hairdo approaches and introduces himself as Hackerman while Fury muses about what to do next. He dons his unique glove, enters a few numbers into his computer, and then he uses magic to build a time machine. Fury ultimately manages to hack back through time, but due to a fault, he travels deeper into the past than he intended to. When he encounters the Laser Raptor, an extinct dinosaur, he He becomes aware of this. When the raptor is ready to laser him, someone suddenly detonates it. It turns out to be a young woman riding a massive wolf while armed with a heavy machine gun. They are living in the Viking era. She confesses while introducing herself as a Barbarianna. Soon Katana, another girl with a rifle, joins them, and the three of them decide to chat on top of a hill. The ladies are eager to assist Führer after hearing how he got here. Although they lack the authority needed to send him into the future, they are aware of the ideal candidate for the job. As a result, Kataka invokes the god of thunder, and a massive Thor materializes in front of them. Before inquiring as to what is wrong, he displays his muscles and boasts about his gym program. Thor moves his hammer in a matter of seconds when requested to create a temporal rift in space. Barbarianna queries Führer about his future intentions before she departs. The two decide to stay in contact via phone since they feel a connection with one another. But because there are no phones on this planet, Führer invents one and sells it to barbarians. He bids them goodbye and enters NAZl Germany after describing all the perks it offers. The location does not seem to be very appealing at first. Two Nazi troops are having a conversation about mustaches in a tank. The older one makes the other person weep by comparing his mustache to pubic hair. They argue for a minute before noticing that the tank is gone. Führer seems to be holding it over their heads. He crushes them and screams thank you before they have a chance to flee. Hitler is addressing a throng of thousands of Nazis at night, as they are all wearing gas masks for whatever reason. He asks the audience whether they agree with him when he claims to be the greatest kung fu master of all time. When they respond positively, he just carries on to the following statement. Hitler also dances incoherently for the audience's amusement. Everything is going according to plan until an abrupt, loud blast is heard. Following the impact of a tank through the roof, Führer immediately dives to the ground. He approaches a Nazi soldier and declares, "I'm going to disarm you," then proceeds to rip off the soldier's arm. He places it on a rifle and spins it to make helicopter wings. He can shoot anybody in his line of sight while flying above the crowd thanks to the odd technology. Finally, the Führer orders his troops to capture the intrusion, but they are scarcely up to the task against Kung Fury. Führer heroically fights off a sea of foes despite being encircled by them and without allowing himself to be touched once. He causes the others to fly out into space while decapitating several of them with only a kick. When Hitler notices this, he finally acts. He removes the machine gun from inside his podium and begins shooting erratically at the audience. Führer gets wounded many times and also loses a lot of his own soldiers. He suddenly sinks to the ground, and Hitler triumphs, much to everyone's amazement. With that, the Nazis all break out in raucous applause and celebrate their win until they are startled by a huge thunderclap. The thunder god descends from the heavens, announcing his glorious presence to everyone. He is being pursued by Hackerman, Barbarianna, Katana, a laser raptor, and Triceracop, who will be Führer's police partner. They strike the Nazi troops as a group, killing each member one by one. Triceracop and Hackerman are motivated by their love for Führer. The dinosaur eliminates half the army with its laser eyes. Barbarianna and Katana demonstrate that they are equal to any combatant, but Thor kills the most people overall. They halt suddenly after a fierce battle to see the last Nazi fall to the ground. Hitler is the only opponent remaining. Hackerman discovers abruptly that Führer is not present. They start looking for him and eventually come upon his lifeless corpse on the ground. Meanwhile, a furious Führer unleashes his enormous pet eagle made of pure gold. It starts to attack the party right away, but the laser raptor stops it. Then, a cartoon-like Führer appears in the virtual environment where we are placed. He encounters a massive cobra, which ends up becoming his spirit animal. The snake that bit Führer the night he attained everlasting knowledge and was selected is the same one that bit him today. This is paradise, and the cobra signifies that Führer passed away here on Earth. This implies that he will continue to enjoy a luxurious life for all of eternity. It is not at all what Führer wants, however. He displays his identification to the cobra and asserts that, as a police officer, he is required to return to Earth. Führer flares scarlet with wrath as the cobra continues to reject. He lunges at the snake and prepares to kick it, but the cobra flees just in time. Following that, Führer is drawn back into the universe, where the eagle and the laser raptor are still at odds. It turns out that Hackerman brought him back to life by hacking into heaven. Führer acknowledges him and then turns to face Hitler. The Führer initially presents as furious, but when he realizes he cannot win this battle, he adopts a different demeanor. Hitler poses as being on their side while the people watch in wonder. Himself believes that Führer and he are like brothers and connects the swastika's crimson backdrop to Führer's clothing. Führer hits him in the manhood and knocks him out before he can complete his sentence. Finally, Thor smashes him with his hammer while he lies on the ground, powerless. The eagle attempts to rescue him just before he is crushed, but he too meets the same end as its master. Hitler and the eagle are completely destroyed as Thor removes the hammer. The gang is mildly surprised by this, But despite this, they continue to assume that the enemy has been vanquished and begin to rejoice. Finally, everyone goes to Führer and asks what will happen next. He responds that he has a ton of paperwork to finish up and wants to go back to the police station. Surprisingly, everyone starts laughing at the cheesy joke. The action then jumps back to the arcade machine's initial rampage across Miami. Führer pulls up shortly after in his sports vehicle, and the fight begins. He engages in a similar battle with the machine and ultimately succeeds in killing it. The eagle and the Führer suddenly materialize in another alleyway. Then it is revealed that the eagle had already saved its master by teleporting them just in time. They are now prepared to exact revenge on those who killed thousands of their friends. Führer notes that the arcade machine has a swastika on its side in the last scene. His expression indicates that he is aware that Hitler has returned.